Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the, it's not the Daily Challenge, that's not what it is. Oh, Adobe Live, that's what it is. I'm so used to doing the daily challenges every morning.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just natural. But my name is Howard Pinsky. I'm a senior XD evangelist here at Adobe, joined by the wonderful Kate Kassab. How are you?
I'm doing great today.
Day number 2, are you excited?
Very excited.
Yeah.
We have some very special, fun things to go over today. I'm so excited to jump right into it. Let's see, we have Ariana in the chat, we have Joe in the chat, Ramon. Hey, hi, hello to everybody.
Yeah, if you are tuning in, let us know who you are, where you're tuning in from. We're in lovely actually, it's not lovely today. It's raining.
It is very rainy.
Yeah, but San Francisco, beautiful over here sometimes. Hey, Richard, welcome. So before we jump into things, we're gonna go over some housekeeping rules. In about half an hour, we're gonna be doing chat and win, and one of you will win 100 stickers from Sticker Mule, which is great. Lovely graphic over here Paco put up, thank you, Paco. And then about half an hour before the stream ends, so in about an hour and a half from now, we're gonna be taking a look at some daily challenges. Jesse was just designing a leaderboard experience using plugins in Adobe XD. So if you're taking part in that, or the one from yesterday, you can dive in there, post it in Discord. There's a current challenge channel, current challenge feedback channel, that's the one. Post your stuff in there, we'll take a look at it about half an hour before the stream ends. And Joe is still in Nigeria, and James from Colorado, Eric from Oakland, Norris from Boston. Nazim is asking about the Discord link. One of the mods will put it in there very shortly. But if you go to behance.net/challenge/XD, there'll be a link in there as well. Montreal, Quebec. Awesome. Sweet. All right. So let's go ahead and introduce yourself again, just in case there's some new people in the chat. And then we're going to dive into some new features.
Let's get started.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna keep this simple. Again, we have some very fun features to announce. So, my first name's Kate, last name is Kassab. I am a visual designer based out of San Diego, California. I live in the wonderful downtown city part of San Diego. It's great, the people there are wonderful. We have really good tacos. I work for a company called MindTouch, and we're essentially a knowledge or an enterprise-grade knowledge management solution, helping people find answers when they need it most. And that's some of the team dressed up on Luau Day. That's my face, and then you can find some of my work on Behance or Dribbble at Kate_Kassab, or you can follow me on Twitter if you want to be pals. Some of my background really quick. So this is my Behance profile. One of my favorite things to do in XD is actually animation. That's kind of what drew me to the application, because there's so much you can do in this application. That's past prototyping, that's past web design.
Yep.
It's so powerful. So this is one of the bigger projects I've done in XD, and I really like to include a lot of, or just a good amount of animation in my design work. All right. So for those of you that are new and could not attend yesterday, we are working on a to-do app. And what makes this to-do app really special is it is a social platform as well, and it's kind of, made for creatives. So I'm someone that's, I'm not always the best at updating my portfolio, and I really like to have a to-do list, but sometimes I want to share that to-do list with people, and maybe they're curious about what I'm up to.
Yeah.
So this way they can keep up with that. So not only can you keep track of and share to-dos, but you can track their progress, and I would hope there would be a sort of community around it where people can really just motivate one another. Like I mentioned, it's for digital creators of any kind. Literally, if you're a graphic designer, a digital artist, an interaction designer. And then, of course, why are we gonna make this application? I feel
Why is a good question.
I feel like all designs should start with why.
Yeah.
Because
I've noticed a lot of designs, a lot of products, you just look at them and think, why? But not the good kind of why. What problem is it trying to solve? And I think it's a very important question to ask, because too many companies are creating products that really don't solve problems. It's just the same product as something else. It's just looks a bit different, or
Yes.
slightly different in terms of functionality, but it doesn't really solve anything.
Yeah, I read something recently. It was interesting. It said that if you're not, asking yourself the question of why you're solving or designing to solve a problem, it's not design, it's decoration.
Yeah.
So
I like
just
that.
something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And then how is this memorable? I come from a place of the reason I got into design is because I just have a huge love for video games. It's how I grew up. I spend most of my pastime doing that. I've always loved storytelling. So I really want to put a personal twist on this social app and, give it some video game aspects.
Totally.
Make it interactive and make it fun.
I love that.
So I know that everyone wants to know more about content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Content.
Let's do it. Let's hop over to my screen, and let's go over some fun stuff before we dive into what you have planned. I love today. I love days like this. Just like new features. I've been using it for a while, but you all haven't used it for a while, maybe a few hours possibly. So this is all brand new to some of you. Very quick overview of today's update. Content-aware layout's the big one that I'm going to show you. We have a star tool. Yay! It's actually built within the polygon tool, but you can make stars now. Great. There's an API for plugins so that drag and drop will be available. Perfect example is like the icon plugin that you were using yesterday. There might be a time where that developer updates, instead of just clicking on an icon and it pops it somewhere in your artboard, you'll just be able to drag it into a component, or you'll be able to drag it exactly where you want it. So that'll be nice once plugins are updated to support drag and drop. And I think one thing that wasn't mentioned in this tweet is that PDFs, if you are exporting your artboards to PDFs, are going to be drastically reduced in file size now. So they did a lot of optimization in the back end. But let's go to XD. And it took every bit of energy from me yesterday not to say, it's coming tomorrow, just in case something happened last minute, you never know. So this file, I'm going to show you two examples, but this file in particular, you can download letsxd.com/content-aware-layout. And do we have any mods in the chat? Maybe not. Let me hop over to letsxd for a second. And I'll just post it in the chat. Oh, here it is. Boop. If I go to Behance. Hey, Samuel, welcome. Hey, Jack. Welcome, everyone who's just joining us. Let me go ahead and post this in the chat so you can dive in, get all the details about content-aware layout, and there's an example file on that page as well. So if you're on this page and you scroll down just a little bit, right here you can download basically the exact file that I'm going to be working on. So, and if you watch my masterclass, we actually designed this last week. So I kind of dropped some hints. And you might notice that 127 calories is January 27th, which was last night when the update dropped.
Look at that. Wow.
Version 26.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so clever.
I'm surprised no one caught that. I'm not going to do that for every example file I release, but, I just wanted to drop a little hint in there. Nobody caught it, so, All right, so we've all been using components for a while. We've all been designing, using groups and things like this. And, one of the big things in content-aware layout is the ability to basically define padding and have your elements kind of mold to the shape. Everyone's like, very sneaky. Sneaky. Easter eggs, yeah. So, at the basic level, we've got buttons, right? And you may have seen Jesse kind of demo this in the daily challenge. Val says, Illuminati vibes. Indeed. So we've got this button here, right? And I'm going to be using it throughout my project, several artboards. So I'm going to turn it into a component, right? Right click, make component, Command and Control K. You've got your little plus button up here. Boop, there we go. It's now a component. Easy stuff. We've all done this before many times. But the problem is that previously, if you wanted to change the button, let's say you wanted maybe, let's go for a different, let's go for a state. We'll add a state, right? This will be outlined, possibly. We're just gonna get fun with this. We're gonna change, maybe we'll just get rid of the fill. Oops, boop. And we'll set a nice pink color, right? That's not pink, that's more red, but I'll fix it, right? And we've got our buy now, same color. I can just sample it. There we go. All right, so we've got our button, right? And we've got our states. If I can click the button, turn off the shadow, beautiful. So one of the problems is that, you know, if you decide later on you have this button somewhere else on your document, let's just put it over here, copy it, pop it, boop, and you change the text, and let's say this is add to cart, or just you want buy, right? That looks weird. Wouldn't you agree? That looks very strange. Or if you wanted to like add to cart and buy now. I don't know why you would do this, but it looks weird. Then you have to go in and manually resize this button, make sure the padding is exactly the same. It's just a weird process, right? So instead, what we've introduced is content-aware layout, and this works on components and it also works on groups. And there's some pretty cool stuff you can do with it. I'll show you in a minute, but over here to the right in the Properties Inspector, you've got your padding option, which is brand new. It's right alongside responsive resize. And when you turn that on, it's essentially on the master component. You can't activate it on an instance, as you can see here. So on the master component, when you turn this on, what's going to happen is XD is going to look at the relationship of the text layer or any content that is above the background layer. And the background layer is defined by the backmost element. And I use the word element because it doesn't necessarily have to be a single layer. It could be a group, it could be a Boolean object, it could be a mask, which is really cool. That's where you can get into fun stuff. So I'm going to turn this on, and you're going to notice this button automatically resized, which is super cool, even though it's an instance. And I can also go to the state, and I can make those changes as well. I can put padding, or I can not put padding. So I have complete control over you know, my components, right? So what it did is it took a look and said, okay, well, we noticed that the relationship in the padding is automatically set to about 72 pixels from either side. Of course, you can go in and rename this or change this to, let's say, 42 pixels, right? And it automatically updates. You can also, let me actually change the color of this just so we can see what we're working with. And get rid of that border, power of components. You can also use your tilde key, which is the little squiggle line beside the 1. And if you hold that down, you can adjust the padding individually on any side, or you can hold down the tilde key and Alt or Option and adjust it on both sides. So that's pretty cool, right? But, you know, and for buttons, of course, the big benefit, let me zoom in here, is that you can just go add to cart. Well, I can't spell. Add to cart. There you go. And the button magically resizes automatically, which is great, right? But let me go back to that purple color. But it extends further than that. It really extends to groups as well. So we've got this whole group here with all the elements inside of basically the group, right? And we want this to kind of adapt as we're designing. So I have everything inside of that group right over here to the left to my layers panel, and I'm simply going to turn on padding over to the right, just like that. And again, it's going to take a look at where the elements are inside of this group compared to the background, which is that last layer, and it's going to automatically set the padding. Again, you could go through and make some changes if you wanted to, and you can also use negative padding. So I can just pull this up a little bit, and now I have negative padding, which is kind of fun. So as I move this around, all of that adapts really nicely. If I want to move this outwards, I can do that. If I want to, you know, what's another topping for donuts? Something long.
We could do, I feel like.
Maybe jelly filled?
Okay.
Jelly filled Adobe XD donut. And when I accept that, it's automatic, that's very long, but it's automatically gonna resize the container because I kind of pushed it to the edge, right? So there's a lot of really cool things you can do with content-aware layout, but oops, there we go. But it gets even better because what you're able to do is you're also able to include other elements inside of that background. So if I wanted to make sure that, you know, when I have this quantity element selected, and if I want to move this down, you're noticing right now, it's not pushing that button down. So what we can do in that case is grab this button, which I should probably name. Grab this button and then just include it with the background. So I'm just gonna put it into a group. I'll just call this background. Now all of a sudden the background of this group is actually this white box in the background plus the button. So if I grab quantity and start moving it, look at that. It also has it. So if you know there's going to be any elements, I can also include, let's say, the calorie inside of the background, right? And that way, if I move any elements here, did I get it? Did I miss it? I don't know what I did. I don't know. Anyways, what I'm able to do is just, move this around so that any elements that's within that background is basically going to be pushed. So if you know you have layers or buttons or whatever that's always going to remain on the bottom or the right or the left or whatever it might be, just throw them in the background and it'll kind of adapt with it, which is super fun.
It's going to save us so much time.
Yeah, and it also works with Boolean objects. So in this component here, we've got a container and there's just a Boolean object back here. And if I were just to put, hearts, if I spell it right, there we go. And, responsive resize does its thing, make sure that's always over to the left. And it just, like you said, it's going to save a ton of time. Mm-hmm. And, yesterday when you were designing your experiences like that login screen and many of the other elements, I was thinking, content-aware layout's going to work really well.
Right?
Yeah. 100%. And if anyone has questions about content-aware layout throughout the stream, definitely throw them in the chat. And we'll take a look at them. And Jack is saying, could do some really cool reveal stuff with masks. Indeed, yeah. There's a lot of really cool things you can do once you start using content-aware layout. And, do I have any more examples? Yeah, you got the idea probably. It'll probably be a lot of the same stuff. So let's hop over back to your screen and we'll take a look at what you've done so far.
Awesome. So if you guys are new to, if you guys weren't able to attend yesterday's, so this is kind of like what we left off with, right? It's very lo-fi. We were just kind of getting some ideas out there. Chat gave us some of their, some ideas for some to-dos, right? So I kind of took that and coming over here, let's start with login, right? So if you notice, we have a logo now, guys. I am not a logo designer by trade, so it's nothing fancy. But whoever had the idea, the name CanQuest, that's that
Eric,
one.
Possibly.
Eric?
Not Eric Sue, but Eric something else.
Okay, gotcha. So we have a logo now, 2 different lockups, right, that we'll be using in the design. And then coming down here, I was asking you guys what you would want to see on a to-do homepage. So I kind of took all of that feedback, went home, and kind of sat down. I'm like, okay, as someone coming into the experience, what would be easiest for me? What's the easiest way to navigate? And so we're gonna see a drawer right here on the left-hand side that you can click between home, your quests, parties, and explore. And then down here to kind of bring in our idea of having a progress bar. We'll see that at the bottom. You can see that I'm level 21 with about 3,000 experience. You'll see that I'll have a username to kind of, we'll have some fun with that later. And then right here we can see...
Does it say Cater Tot?
It does.
That's amazing. That is great.
Yeah, it's super silly, but I'm like, what's something fun that we can use? So that's a nickname I've had in the past.
Nice.
So side quests, these are like your daily to-dos. So you'll actually see throughout the application like little nods to video game things here. Like in the copy, you'll see like, hey, look, listen, as a call to The Legend of Zelda. Yep. And so actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's add a quest, right? So clicking here, let's go ahead and add start day 2 XD stream. We can go ahead and hover, click it, and we'll see it add to the list. And finish XD day 1 stream. We've done that. So on click.
Nice. I like your use of components. Oh, look at that. You got some time triggers going on.
Yep.
Very cool.
And then actually, really quick, before I get too far.
So just for those who might be curious after you show this off, I would love to see what the process was in creating some of these interactions.
Absolutely, yeah, I'd love to. For the other 2 panels on the screen, really quick, you'll see we have quest details. So you'll see that I haven't filled out the details of my quest yet. So let's go ahead and pretend that, I'm typing this in. This is, where I would do that. And then let's pretend I type something in. I can go ahead and click save, and then it updates there for me. You can also add subquests to your quest or your side quests. And yesterday we definitely asked the chat for some name ideas, thus CanQuest 1. And yeah, looking good. Down here we have just like something fun, words of wisdom, and it would pull like random fun, motivating quotes from video games, even though it's kind of nerdy, but a way to tie in the theme. So.
Hey Anna, welcome.
Hi Anna. Hi Aaron. And James says, quote, cater tot. Yes.
Yep. I think you should run with that for all your usernames now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
would you guys take me seriously? They'd be like, who is cater tot? What? So on the agenda today, I want to go ahead and really flesh out a profile page for someone. So this would be me logged in as myself viewing one of my friends' pages. So I before, we even get to that, let me walk you through kind of how this is wired up, because we do have some interactions in there. So to start off, really this is, when you click into this is made with states. So you'll see that I have my default state, and then I went ahead and named another state active that just has the text filled in there.
Yep.
And then that button has a hover state. We've all made hover states, we don't need to get into that. And then how I did this here, right? If we kind of delve in and see how this text here pops up, the way I created that was on my very first artboard. Where is he? Maybe he's here somewhere.
Val says, I think you can take it up a notch to Darth Tater Tot. Yeah.
You know what? I love it. I think it's great.
You gotta run with it. And someone needs to do an illustration of a Darth Tater Tot or Cater Tot. Thomas is asking, how long did it take you to become proficient in XD? Was there an Illustrator background?
So I was jumping into XD around the time I started to become proficient in Illustrator. How long did it take to become proficient in XD? I would say proficient, maybe like a few months, but that was me like working in it every single day, really just seeing what I could do with it and like trying to like push like how much I could do with it.
Yeah.
And so it was like an intensive few months of like, that's all I would do.
Practice makes perfect.
Yes. And of course, all of the amazing assets and tutorials that the XD team puts out is amazing. So if you guys have the time today, go to letsxd.com.
I'm a bit biased.
Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Created this site, that's okay.
Yeah.
So what we have going on here, there is a component hidden here, and I have the opacity set to 0. And the reason I have the opacity set to 0 and not just turning off visibility is because on the next artboard, I have it kind of come up, but I have the opacity set to 100 here, and so as it comes up, it's very, very slight, but you're gonna see it fade in just a little bit smoother than it would have been if the visibility was set to 0.
Yeah.
So that's how that was made. Let's see, the other animation we've got going on. Okay, this is where things get a little bit fun, right? Because when a quest is checked as completed, right, it disappears and then everything else comes up. And the way that I did that is essentially with a rectangle tool that has the same fill as this background here. I think in the past in other tutorials, people call them curtains. Because you're kind of like hiding the content under it with this curtain.
Right. You could also probably use a mask. It's a little bit more complicated.
Yes.
But yeah, curtains work. The only thing, with the curtain, because you have a little bit of a background blur in the background, there's always the possibility that it doesn't blend in perfectly. But yeah, the curtains, masks, whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. There's some fun, clever ways you can do it.
100%. And so I have an artboard kind of like dedicated to just hiding that one, and then over here, everything else pulls up.
Nice.
Then over here, of course, these are just states. And so that's kind of the interface that we're working with. On our profile page, I really want to have some fun with our new features. Before I jump into that, let's touch on the star tool.
Oh, that's right. I didn't cover that. Yeah, go for it.
That's another thing that's coming out, or has come out. So using our triangle tool, we can go ahead and just draw out a triangle. And then over here, we can use the up arrow to kind of give more hexagons. Let's give it, or more polygons. Let's give it 5 points. And then see how when you hover over now, you're gonna have this little circle. And when you pull it in,
fancy.
Look at that. We have stars now, guys. That's so cool.
Groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking, right? And then, of course, you can like curve the stars and get all fun with it.
Yeah, it's one of those little features that, you know, it doesn't seem like it's that big on the surface, but once you need to create a star, you're happy it's there.
Yep. You don't realize how much you need it.
Yeah.
Until that happens,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, so jumping right in, for when you're looking at someone's profile, I want you to be able to see the side quests they've completed just for the amount of time that we have going on today. We don't have enough time to go through everything. So this is gonna show me this person's completed quests, their main quest that they're working on, and then their gallery. Since this really is meant for creatives, I want this to be something where people can upload their works in progress or, you know, even fully fleshed out projects and have people view that.
Yep.
So, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys some really neat illustrations that we're gonna be using for this application today. So these right over here, these illustrations are from DrawKit. DrawKit is, let me go ahead and pull up the website here.
Was that the one you're talking about yesterday
Yes.
from James? I think James is in the
Yeah, I
chat
think I
here.
saw him.
Yeah, he's in there somewhere.
Nice. So yeah, James is the creator of DrawKit, and what you guys can do is you can come in here and all of like these illustrations are free and
Wow.
up for use, and so you can filter it down. I mean, he has outlined versions, he has colored versions, some good stuff in here. I mean, look at that.
That's perfect. It, like
amazing.
completely fits in your
In the theme, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And then if you guys want to, today I'll be using his Peach system. You can come in and there's illustrations for purchase as well. So that's the source that we'll be getting the illustrations from.
Nice.
So let's go ahead and let's
James,
get
you should make
started.
a plugin to integrate it directly in XD.
That would be amazing. Once there's maybe like some drag and drop capabilities to like
There
just
is now.
drag the,
Yeah.
yep, be awesome. So let's go ahead and let's get some of those illustrations in here. Let's have some fun. So let's go ahead and just start with, Steve says, thanks, James. And Frankie, I was looking for these. Awesome. Let's go ahead and just make a rectangle, turn our grids on, kind of just get an idea of what we're working with.
And as you're doing that, if people, you know, looks like there's a few new people who might be confused what these big blue lines are on the screen. Talk about, you know, why these grids are important and, you know, what your method is as you're creating them.
Absolutely. So for this project, I'm going to be working with a 12-column grid. And all designers are different, but I'm a designer that really enjoys working with grids because it gives you a really solid foundation for your design. It's gonna make your alignment a lot better. It's gonna take out a lot of complexity down the road if you choose not to use them, in my opinion. And what's great is like you can have things, of course, you know, snap to columns. And so the reason that I choose to use 12 columns as opposed to like 10 or 8 or anything like that is because with 12, you're gonna get more versatility there and there's more flexibility because not only can you do halves, but you can do quarters, 3/4, things like that.
Alberto says 12-column grid life. Yeah.
Yes, Alberto.
Yeah.
And James says he'll get on the plugin.
Yeah, nice. We have some great documentation on the, I forget what it's called. I think it's like the XD developers website or something. There's a ton of documentation on there to really get you started. But before you dive into that, we have about 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, chat and win. Kaboom. So we're gonna be back in just a second. When we get back, maybe let us know what your favorite Adobe XD plugin is, and one of you will win 100 stickers from Sticker Mule. Be right back. And we're back. So, fireworks are exploding. Let us know what your favorite plugin in Adobe XD is. What's your favorite plugin?
Mine would probably be Stark.
Yeah, Stark is a good one, especially for accessibility. And you kind of showed it off yesterday.
Yes.
So important.
Because otherwise you'd have to like go to a browser and open up a window that checks accessibility for you, and then you're copy pasting hex codes, and it's you're saving so much time with Stark.
Yeah, so we've got Simon with Mimic. Mimic is an interesting one. Have you used Mimic before?
I haven't. What's that one?
So I think if I'm thinking of the right one, it basically can take a website and basically, you know, like mimic that website in Adobe XD. So you can pull in some assets, pull in some colors, and that sort of thing. So you can just kind of get going and get some inspiration.
Awesome.
Catalina, this person does not exist. Yes, within UI faces. We were talking about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Super creepy. Maybe you can show that off today at some point.
Absolutely.
Mohammed says Stark, color scale. Someone said up there said Unsplash, Google Sheets, icons. Mohammed says not Google Sheets. I love the Google Sheets plugin. It's so good.
Content generator.
Rename it. There's a lot of good plugins. And in just a moment, one of you will win 100 stickers any second now. There it go. Jack. Awesome. One of
Congrats,
our previous
Jack.
Adobe Live guests. You can make all the donut stickers if you want. So yeah, congrats. Someone from Behance will get in touch with you very shortly and get you hooked up. And if you did not win, you can go to stickermule.com/Adobe Live 20. Get 10 stickers for $1, which is still pretty good.
Some good stuff.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jack. All right, so I'm gonna keep this pretty simple. Actually, no, we're not, because I want to dive in. That's like the story of my life.
Yeah, that's how we work. It's gonna be super simple. No, then it looks like a masterpiece.
Yeah, oh my God. So the whole point of, I'm gonna have a grid going on right now, and we're gonna drag some of James's amazing illustrations in. But let's have some fun with our color palette that we named yesterday. And for the people that are new to the chat today, these are the colors that we're working with. You'll see that we have some awesome names. Pinsky, Boop.
Which is a very common misspelling of my last name.
Yeah.
But it fits. It's pink, you know. Works.
It's great, it's on brand.
Yeah.
We have Boop, because again, working with Mr. Howard
Of course.
Pinsky. I almost did it there. Oh my God.
Amazing.
We've got Oddish, because we were talking about our favorite Pokemon yesterday. Poppins, because we use Poppins a lot.
Yep.
And
then Wolf.
Wolf.
Has, you know.
We had to include something cool and edgy in there somewhere, right? So popping over to Illustrator, because the theme today is all about workflows and pro tips. And so I'm going to show you guys really quickly how I would do just a universal quick color edit really quick. So I love the colors James has picked out here. They work so well together. But maybe we want this to be a little bit more themed for the app we're building, just for the fun of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight everything here, and then come up into Edit, go to Edit Colors, and Recolor Artwork.
Ooh.
Yep. And so if you see here, you know, I'm sure you guys probably know this already, but we can change colors on the fly. So
that's basically pulling the colors from the highlighted artwork, right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't use Illustrator very much. I know I'm a terrible designer, but I don't use it as much as I should. So I'm clueless right now.
Let's see. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to add these colors into, and I'm recoloring everything as I go. Let's select off there. We want to make this a color theme. Let's see. How would I do that? Why am I struggling here?
I'm the worst person to ask. Marissa's saying, I've been trying to get the Star tool to work for a few minutes, realize I haven't updated XD yet. Yeah, if you haven't updated, do that. It should be XD 26.
Okay, so just to give you guys a quick idea, you see I have these color themes on the right-hand side, and with one click, I can quickly do a universal recolor. I can get in depth here and go into each color and recolor that way. But yeah, I think, you know what? I'm not even gonna worry about this. Let's go ahead and just use the colors James has provided already.
Sure. And you can always change them in XD as well.
Yes.
Not all at once, but you can change like all the teals at once, or all the greens at once, or purples.
Yeah, and to touch on that really quick, I really really, really suggest using SVGs in your Adobe XD mockups because when you're handing these off to developers, when you share for development, they have the option to download all of the assets that you've used in the mockups.
Yep.
And so when you're designing for the web, it's, in my opinion, if you're using especially flat illustration, it's much better to use an SVG because it's a much smaller file size. So in turn, you're going to get a faster load time. It's cleaner, it's crisper. You don't have to compress it.
Super crisp.
Like very crisp.
Yeah.
It's all mathematics, guys, and so it can scale up and down.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. And I know Jack loves SVGs, but especially in the day of Retina displays that are just like 8K, you know, there are some websites that are optimized for that. So if you were to just provide a PNG or a JPEG or whatever it might be, and just like a 1x version of it, when someone's viewing it on 8K monitor, it's going to look a little bit pixelated. But with an SVG, it just scales up really nicely, and it's super crisp no matter what resolution you view it on. And what's cool about working in Illustrator is you can do just like what Kate's doing. You can export it to your computer if you need those assets there. You can also just copy and paste directly from Illustrator into Adobe XD if you don't need those files on your computer at the moment. And they all come over as vector, which is great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It gives you so much control over everything, guys.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love about like the Adobe ecosystem is that we're really working hard to create these integrations. So from Illustrator, you can just copy and paste. I think now you can copy and paste from Photoshop, and I think you can also copy from XD into Illustrator, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And then you can bring it back.
That I don't know. I know you can copy from Illustrator into XD. I don't know about the other way around.
And if not, you can always upload to your Creative Cloud library and make sure everything's in sync there, which is cool.
Absolutely. So really quick, let's take a minute to go through and just kind of dive into some of the free illustrations James has. So you guys can, if you want, use these in your designs. So I really like this Game Boy Color. It fits with the theme. Let's add to cart.
Oh yeah, so Jack did confirm you can go from XD to Illustrator now. I think that's fairly new.
Nice. Sweet. For the sake of the stream, James, I'm gonna buy you coffee later. So let's grab a Game Boy, let's grab... What are you guys seeing? What pops out to you guys? I really like these balloons. Let's go ahead and download those.
Ooh, Joe said it took 7 hours to update XD. XD24. What? That's crazy. I think depending on where you're located, if your internet connection's not super great, it might take a while. Did you have a Game Boy Classic? Like the original Game Boy?
No, I only had the one that flipped out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I remember the Game Boy Classic. It was one of my first consoles, I think. I had the original Nintendo, and then I think Sega Genesis, and then the Game Boy, I believe.
Nice.
Those are fun times.
Do you remember the Dreamcast?
I do. I didn't have one, but I had some friends who had one.
Worst video game controller ever. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the SVGs that I've downloaded from DrawKit, and I'm bringing them into my Illustrator file. And the reason I'm doing that is because then you're kind of getting like a huge universal view of all your illustrations. And that's why I like to just have all of my illustrations that I can have SVG in an Illustrator file, because imagine like when you're in an XD file, not that XD file, my other XD file.
So Kennedy, Kassab, probably related to you.
Yeah.
She said the dog, it reminds her of Kevin. I think that's what she said.
Reminds her of Kevin.
The chat went away.
We have to download the dog now and name it Kevin. I think that's only fitting.
Yeah, you got to do it. Who's Kevin?
So do you guys play Overcooked? No? Okay. No. It is a game on the Nintendo Switch, and one of the characters is a dog named Kevin.
Oh, okay.
And
that's good to know.
Is our favorite character.
There you go.
So, yeah, we got to name him Kevin. So...
Lindsay had a Game Boy and a Sega Genesis.
Nice.
Game Boy was a hand-me-down. Nice. Still works. Oh my gosh. I wish I kept all my original, like, old school consoles.
I know, right? I had a game on the GameCube, which is probably my favorite console, and it was like $20 back in the day, and now it's over $200.
Oh my gosh!
It was Skies of Arcadia.
I think GameCube's one of the only consoles that we still have. We have the purple one.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Okay, let's download the dog really quick.
Oh, Kate is in there bringing the feels about Kobe. R.I.P.
Oh.
Oh, so Michael, looks like Michael plays Overcooked as well.
Nice. Yeah, I love Overcooked.
I haven't gotten into it yet. I should probably download it.
If you like fast-paced games, did you ever play like Diner Dash or anything?
I think I did.
It's very Diner Dash-esque.
Okay. Marissa still has her dad's N64. I love that console.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do one more.
And what are these illustrations going to be used for?
So these are going to be used in this repeat grid that I'm going to create over here in the profile page. So this is going to be actually James's profile to pay him tribute for the amazing illustrations, because part of the app experience is to be able to view other people's work. So we're just going to bring in some of his work real quick.
So before, just to preface this, I think it's still limited, but I don't believe SVGs can be bulk dragged into a repeat grid.
Can they not really?
I don't think so, unless that was changed. But I don't think it works yet.
Okay.
So keep that in mind.
In this case, for people out there, it is definitely better to use SVGs for web design. But since we're going to work within the constraints of repeat grid, let's go ahead and just export PNG.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can drag one at a time, I believe, but you just can't drag in bulk.
Gotcha.
Not sure why, but yeah.
Okay, really quick, one more.
Kate is asking, how do you feel about the new update? I don't know if that's for you or anyone in the chat, but yeah, anyone in the chat, how do you like the new update? I know Kate likes it.
I love it. It's like I said earlier, guys, it's going to save us so much time.
James says, I'm way too starstruck right now. Is that a pun about the new update?
Ooh. I was thinking perfect opportunity to use the star icon later is maybe we can assign certain quests, the difficulty can be measured in stars.
Oh, yeah. And that's super easy to do with repeat grids and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Diego's saying, is there a way to turn off decimal values in XD? So, I don't remember which update it was. It was a while back. Maybe Max, maybe, I think it was before that maybe. There was a big update to decimals and, half values and things like that. Basically, by default, when you create things like rectangles or text or whatever it might be, there won't be any decimal values. It'll be nice, it'll all snap to the grid and everything like that. But when you start getting into, if you start bringing in SVGs that are weirdly sized, or you have multiple objects selected, there's really no way to avoid the decimal values because some objects are different sized, and we don't want to force a specific size on you. So you could go into the properties inspector over to the top right and just get rid of the decimal values. You can do it that way. But most objects will snap to the grid really nicely and won't provide any decimals.
Okay, so now that we have our photos exported as PNGs, let's go ahead and let's play with content-aware layout. We were talking about how we always wanted to call it content-aware fill.
Yeah.
And it's layout,
I
guys.
know. We've been using content-aware fill in Photoshop forever. I remember creating my video on content-aware fill way back in the day. That was really cool stuff.
Okay, so I know that I'm gonna want each one to have a quick little title, so we're gonna go ahead and group these. Call this illustration. And then go ahead and set our padding. All right, did I do that right?
Yep.
Perfect.
So, right now what's happening is that you can kind of see it right there. If you when you pulled down, it showed you all the padding, right? Mm-hmm. So it took a look at, you just have one layer. So it took a look at the layer inside compared to the background, and it set that padding automatically. So it's a little bit large right now, But once you start adding more objects, you can start, kind of defining that padding a little bit more.
Perfect. Okay, so next up, let's go ahead and... I should have made that a component first, actually. And then let's go ahead and drag out a repeat grid.
Yeah, Kate, we are, I think, both using MacBook Pros. Yep, looks like it.
And then let's get some illustrations here. So
you're going to run into another problem.
Oh no, what are you doing?
So you created a component within that repeat grid. So when you bulk drag in images, it's going to,
So let's go ahead and just do repeat grid. So content-aware fill kind of works off of groups, right? Like you don't need things to be componentized necessarily.
Yeah, groups or components, yep.
Oh, how is this going to work? Let's get out of full screen.
Kerwin is saying, need to take the day off from work and really catch up on what's changed in XD over the last year. Oh my gosh, last year.
It's a lot.
Whew, what has happened since basically last May? Components were introduced, states were introduced, content-aware layout today, co-editing, a better experience for Creative Cloud libraries, the Star tool, the Polygon tool. What else was introduced? A lot of stuff. Yeah.
So we can see we have some illustrations in there. Maybe let's go ahead and size them down. See, this is where you might just wanna, no, it's gonna have to work. So maybe for this, we can have a little rectangle in here, kind of coming up from the bottom to highlight that title. Make sure that's actually in the repeat grid. Let's see.
So inside of a repeat grid, if you use the command left and right square brackets, it'll move things up and down once it's in there.
Let's copy that. So it was command and then left and right square brackets.
There it goes.
What am I doing wrong here?
I believe what's going on is because there was padding, it threw everything off.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say probably now, while you're still defining the elements inside of it, maybe turn the padding off and then add it on later once all the elements are kind of in there.
Gotcha. So let's maybe start, just from the beginning really quick. See, this is good. You guys can learn from me not knowing what I'm doing with content-aware layout at first.
Yeah, it's a new feature, so it could take a little bit of time to get used to.
What am I doing?
Maybe pop it out of the repeat grid first, because I think it was in it. Yeah, it's in a group with the padding. So turn the padding off. That way you kind of have like a fresh slate, and now you should be good. Michael says, I remember when I was talking to you about XD back in February, and you're trying so hard not to spoil anything upcoming. Yeah. Yeah, because February was right before we were just getting ready for the May update, which was components or states. No. Yeah, components. I think it was components in May. We have some pretty big features coming up this year too.
Okay. See, this is just what you get when you design live.
Absolutely.
You start forgetting the basics, but it's okay. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna get there.
Yeah, and it's understandable when you're working with new features. You don't know exactly what the limitations are or the workflows. Sometimes you may not understand exactly how things work, and we all run into this. It took me a while to get used to it at first.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and group my rectangle and my title because that's I want to have like a set padding around here. So I'll just name that title. This is background, that's fine. And then now when I do the repeat grid. Nope. Oh, because it's that. I repeat gridded the wrong thing.
I guess while you're doing that, question for the chat. Obviously, you know, the last year has been pretty big for XD. We've had a lot of features come out. But what would you, if you can pick one feature, I love asking this question, that you want to come out in 2020? Do not say dark mode. But if you can pick one feature, what would that feature be?
I feel like everyone still wants to say dark mode.
I know.
That's like the #1 thing I see
I want dark
all over.
mode too, but it's you know, not a priority.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a nice to have sort of thing. Like, are there any other people that are fans of light mode in the chat, like myself? Because like...
Michael.
Oh God, Michael.
What would you like to see in XD this year?
I would love to see... That's a great question, because there are so many new features now that I feel like it's really coming together.
Yeah. So Lindsay says export as a full website. That is a whole other beast.
Oof.
That is so difficult to do, to take design and then export it to a decently functioning website. That's a big beast. But what I kind of mentioned this yesterday, we are going to be focusing a lot on, you know, helping designers work better with developers. I don't want to give too much away on what that means, but there'll be some stuff about that. Alberto says dark mode. Eric says videos. That'd be cool. Videos and GIF support. I believe Talon mentioned that. That's something we're thinking about.
I would love to see support for hyperlinks, like only in, you know, share for review or share for development. So then my stakeholders can, you know, make sure that we're sending things to the right links. That'd be great.
Luis says, did modals or overlays get implemented? We've had overlays for a very long time in XD. You can basically use an artboard, a design on an artboard on any. So if you click on an object on one artboard, you can pop open basically an overlay from another artboard. So that's been available for a while. Lena says the boot button. Yes. Justin says, I love light mode. Jack says, I selfishly want Adobe Aero and XD to play together. Ooh, that could be fun.
Could be really fun.
Yeah. Marissa says, I would like a better way to organize components. Yes, please. I would like that too. I've actually been thinking about how that could possibly look. I've been experimenting. I have no control over the design, but just as a personal project, experimenting like what that could look like possibly. And yeah, I would love to see, especially with states now available, you know, better control over the assets panel would be nice.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of states, let's go ahead and give some side quests, some states, because, so let's pretend, you know, I'm logged in as myself. I'm currently viewing James's profile. Yep. So maybe I see that, you know, let's go ahead and give him some quests first, but eventually I'm gonna wanna maybe be able to like it or comment on it. And so let's go ahead and let's create a like state after we get some quests going.
Sure.
So let's go ahead and repeat grid. Same deal as yesterday, guys. Start leaving some quests in the chat. We'll go ahead and pick some to fill this up.
Diego says, I would like to export images as JPEG versus PNG.
JPEG.
Can't you export as PNG? Or JPEG? Or am I wrong?
Let's try.
Maybe from developer spec you can't.
File.
I could be wrong though. Yeah, so in the export window, if you go to File, Export, you can do JPEG. Yep. Possibly not in developer spec, I'm not sure.
Okay, so one of my favorite little things that I learned thanks to my colleague Dan Bartow is that you can hold down the Alt key when you have something selected and you can see the amount of space between that element and other elements.
Yeah.
So I had the other one set at 30, so let's go ahead and give that the same spacing. Perfect.
That looks good.
Okay.
Nice and breathable.
Yes. Let's give James some quests here. All right, let's do maybe illustrate a new draw kit illustration. Actually, would this be a good way for us to incorporate content-aware layout? Can we do that here?
Probably not here.
Okay.
I would say the entire group, like the entire box that you're working in, might be a good option.
Okay.
Yeah, but on line-by-line basis, it may not.
Gotcha.
It looks like you've got your text center aligned.
Let's change that. Bring it over.
Yeah.
10's pretty good. Let's see. Let's do... James, you should be in the chat. What are some things you do? Illustrating draw quit illustration. Maybe he has...
Build an XD plugin.
There we go. Yeah, builds an XD plugin.
Now James has to do it.
Yeah, James, if we don't see your name or not your name, if we don't see a plugin for DrawKit.
Yeah, by tomorrow.
By tomorrow.
Yeah. Kerwin says, collect 139,377 brown rocks.
Wait, what?
I don't know. That's what he said. Side quest.
Side quest.
Yeah.
Brown rocks.
Yeah, very specific.
Very specific. I like it though. All right, build an XD plugin. Maybe he has, let's say he has an 11 a.m. meeting. For what? We don't know. We're not sure.
Could be for the developers to build the plugin.
We're just
moving
not
fast.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You're just gonna get this from us the rest of the stream.
And even off stream, I'm gonna tweet at him.
Yep. All right, 11 a.m. meeting. We've got maybe he has to walk his dog.
Oh.
Side quest.
He says make breakfast.
He says he's too distracted by the stream to make his own food.
Yeah.
I'm gonna type it in all caps so that way you feel like you have to go and actually get breakfast because you should eat.
That won't help.
It won't help.
No, we're designers. We're gonna
That's
see something
true.
that's different.
That's
It'll be
very
all
true.
caps. Like I gotta get rid of that because it's all, it's all caps. It just doesn't match the rest.
Very, very true. All right.
Thomas says learn content aware layout.
Yeah, seriously.
That's a good question.
Learn content aware layout. And last one. Val says, gotta gather those rocks.
Indeed.
Just because we need some. Perfect. So, let's see.
Play Overcooked with my sister.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so next, I'm kind of like hitting a point where I realize that I kind of did this backwards.
Did you?
Yeah, I should have made it a component first because I want to make it add states. Did I not? I hope I did.
Well, the nice thing is, because you're working inside of a repeat grid, if you just make the first one a component, then they'll all become components. Bam. Look
There
at
we
that.
go.
Isn't
Guys,
that
the
fancy?
magic of repeat grid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's go ahead and give it some states. This is our default state where we don't have anything liked. Maybe we have a state where we create a liked one. And let's go ahead and give it a fill. Maybe we can use Pinsky here.
Ooh. All right.
Let's see.
Eric says, I did not know that.
I didn't know that either, Eric. I'm learning so much on this stream.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah. Okay, so if you guys were here yesterday, we wanted Pinsky to kind of be like our primary color for this design, but as I was designing yesterday, it just ended up being a little bit too strong of a pink,
Yeah.
so we ended up going with, I think this is Oddish. Yeah,
like it,
we ended
yeah.
up using a lot of Oddish everywhere.
Yeah. Pink is very difficult to work, especially as a primary color.
Okay, so we have a liked state defined.
Howard and his Jedi tricks. Yeah.
That's nice. Adobe Comp integration.
Yeah, comp was in. I don't think it's still supported. I think it's something we created a long time ago. It still exists, I believe. I just don't think we support it. But something like comp in XD would be really fun.
Definitely. All right, so next, do I have to ungroup this repeat grid? This is just one of those streams, guys, where you realize you're designing live and your brain's like, you don't know anything anymore. you gotta figure it out as you go.
Oh, because it changed the text, right? Is that what you're talking about? The quest text?
Oh no, so like if I just want, actually I think I answered my own question by yeah, anyways. Okay, so now we have a liked state defined. So what we can do is we can come in here and let's see, prototype. Damn.
What's up?
I'm trying to figure out a hover state for the heart.
Oh, a hover state for the heart.
Or, sorry, a press state for the heart.
Okay, yeah.
Like an on tap kind of thing. Because the whole thing is a component, so is there a way?
There is, yeah. So if you go into prototype mode and you just select the heart, you can click on that and then have it transition to the, the like state.
There we go.
And you're noticing because all the other ones are instances of that master component, it just adds it to all of them, which is nice.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and test that out really quick. Boom. Nice.
Fancy.
Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Diego says, it happens to me when I mentor, I forget everything. I hear that because not only like are you designing, but you have to talk through what you're designing, and then your brain kind of hits a wall where you're like, oh no, what's happening?
Yeah.
Yep, totally get that.
Yeah, and the nice thing about components and states is you have a lot of flexibility on how those are set up, right? So, you know, what you did is you kind of took the entire row and turned that into a component. And just like a little bit of an educational moment, what I would do if I was doing this is anything that has text, I wouldn't include inside of a component unless it's necessary. Because sometimes that could interfere with repeat grids, it could interfere with states and that sort of thing. So I would actually turn the individual elements into separate components and states. So you would have the checked boxes on the left as one component. You would have the comment icon as another component. And then the heart icon as a third component with its individual states. That way, you know, the text can be kind of living on its own inside of that repeat grid, and it still maintains functionality if you wanted to drag in, let's say, a text file into that repeat grid and have it populate. But there's lots of ways to do it. So, you know, there's no wrong way necessarily. You'll just run into a few limitations here and there.
Absolutely. No, that makes total sense. It's way more scalable. Yeah, I would definitely do that. But since, you know, we have only 26 minutes till our design feedback countdown, let's keep it moving.
Yeah. And Wendy says, I'm a beginner and learning so much here.
I'm so glad, Wendy.
Yeah, that's why we do these things.
Anthony says he's back, and hello. Hello, Anthony.
Hey.
Awesome. And then Kerwin listed off the evolutions of Oddish.
Nice.
Nice. Okay, so moving forward, let's give James a main quest. Maybe we want... What would be James's main quest? Oh, perfect. Develop a plugin for Adobe XD. Develop a draw kit plugin for Adobe XD.
By the end of the stream.
By the end of the stream.
It's gone from tomorrow to the end of the stream.
Yes.
And Kate is asking, please explain the gallery and the illustrations in terms of the app.
Okay.
I think he's talking about the one to the right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead and I'm just gonna make this full screen really quick. So to kind of hit on like the point of this app is I want people to go to other creators' profiles and see what they're up to for the day, see what they're aiming to do for the month, and then their gallery is a way for them to just quickly update like some of their works in progress. So I'm looking at some of what James has been uploading recently that are just, you know, things for display.
I think that first picture is James building the plugin. Yeah.
And then this is all of us like afterwards designing comfortably and like so happily because we have that in that plugin.
Yeah. And then the third one is him running away from me, tweeting at him all the time, asking where the plugin is.
The balloon is me sending him packages like through balloons to like hopefully get him to like make the plugin. Like, please make this. Here are gifts by balloons.
Don't know what the dog is, but the fourth one is James finally eating because he finished the plugin.
Oh my gosh. No.
James hates us.
James is gonna leave. James is like, I'm done here. I haven't seen him in a while. Maybe he did.
He's
leave.
in there. He's in there.
Had a hunch that was coming.
Yeah.
Nice. No. So, let's see. What else do we want to do here, right? So maybe let's add some of those stars.
Sure.
Let's
Stars
just
are
have
always
some fun with our new tool that we have.
Yeah.
So go ahead and grabbing the triangle tool like I showed you guys earlier. We can drag that out. Give it 5 sides. And then just by clicking on one of the lines here, you're gonna see a little circle and you're just gonna simply drag in.
Oop. Fancy.
Maybe this can be Poppins Pink too, just because we need more Poppin, or not Poppins Pink, it's Pinsky. Pinsky Pink.
Pinsky Pink, something.
So maybe the stars can kind of like be an indicator of how hard the quest will be for him that month. So actually, let's bring the stars up here. And so actually what we're gonna do is let's actually make this gray.
And let us know in the chat, what else would Kate need to put on a profile page like this?
Yeah, let me know.
Thanks, Val.
Thank you, Val. Nice. Don't want that. Maybe let's give this a repeat grid, all right? Maybe let's say like the hardest a quest can be is 3 stars. And then for him, maybe this quest is just 2 stars.
It should totally be 3 stars.
I know, I thought about it, but I'm like, then we
I
won't
know.
see the last one.
Yeah.
Why do you have an outline? Get out of there.
Yeah, so for Dave and anyone else who might be asking, and Val answered it, that Kate got those drawings from DrawKit, which is made by James, who is in the chat.
He is. Let me pop over to DrawKit really quick. Just give you guys an idea.
Oh, so Thomas said maybe a due date. That would be good.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, and Lena says maybe a finished on time / your task is overdue indicator. Yep.
Eric says, I agree, I'm loving this combo. I guess
Thank
we
you,
make
Eric.
a good team.
There we go.
See, I mess up content aware layout and you're here to you're here to help me. For anyone new to the chat, the illustrations that we're using are from DrawKit. You can come on here and there are so many free illustrations that you guys can use in your designs. You can go ahead and filter down by all these different categories, and James has been awesome at uploading both an outlined version and a filled version.
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome. And we've got 20 minutes left until our design feedback countdown. So for any of you that are doing the challenges today, make sure that you guys are uploading that into Discord.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and take a look.
And Jesse's done such a great job at hosting these challenges over the last week or 2.
I was just watching his stream before this, and he is awesome. He has so
Isn't he
much
great?
energy. He's
I
really
know.
good at engaging people. He's such a talented designer.
Yep. I don't know where he gets all the energy from.
Says the person who's had 3 coffees today.
Oh gosh, I had a terrible sleep last night. Usually I just have 1 coffee max, but I just, hotels just, I don't do well with hotels. And it was so loud last night.
Let's go ahead and give this a due by date.
Let's see, any more suggestions? Because Kate also said due date would be dope, indeed. Yeah.
What's tomorrow's date? 29th. I almost typed 19 just now. That was
I
embarrassing.
know, I've done that a few times already. And he says, so much for quitting coffee. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible.
This is one of the things where white space is so important because you never want to like cram everything.
Especially since you have so much space there, you might as well use it.
Absolutely. So maybe
I
we
like it
have
over there. Yeah.
stars off to the side right here. And this is a cool little trick that my first mentor, Jen Klabus, taught me is the rectangle tool, right? So we can drag out a rectangle and get everything aligned on this side. Do we have something center aligned? Let's see. Left, left, left. Okay.
Gave me an idea. Let's see.
You could also do this with rulers. It's really just whatever works best for you. And this is just another one of those cases where I'm going to play with one pixel over and over again. Of course. That one pixel makes a difference, guys. It really does.
It really does. You could also use, very similar to how you had the rectangles, you could also use content-aware fill. Or I did it, didn't I? Content-aware layout to make sure everything is nicely padded around the side.
Oh, see, there you go. Let's do that.
Yeah, I was just trying it out just to make sure it works, but yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get our things grouped here. Let's see. I want these two.
Oh my gosh, Jack, what did you do?
This.
What did Jack do? Darth Cater Tots. What did Jack do?
What?
I don't know. I'm afraid.
Do we want to switch over to your screen really quick?
Yeah, let's switch over to my screen for a second.
Okay, this is like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. This is gonna be my new Twitter profile picture. I'm gonna send this to my mom.
What have you done, Jack?
This is awesome. It's beautiful.
This is amazing.
Wow.
There you go.
That is, like, I'm speechless.
Yeah. This is why this stream is amazing and our community is great. Was it last week? I think it was during my masterclass, I think. I threw out a little sub-challenge or a side quest that someone should do like Adobe-themed donuts. And I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but Jack, actually I can go to her profile. And she designed, where are they? Where are they? Oh, maybe she replied, hold on. Where are they? There they are. She just drew Adobe-themed donuts.
Those are amazing.
Aren't
Are
they
you
cool?
serious?
Yeah.
Wow, amazing job, Jack. I don't know why I'm looking at your screen. It's up there, but wow, that is awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Wow, you have everything in there too, the whole Creative Cloud.
Yep.
What's your guys' favorite? My favorite is, you know, probably biased, but I would say that XD pink is looking so good on the donut.
It does, yeah. Lightroom looks pretty good too.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Alyssa says my profile pic with this.
Crazy.
The stream is amazing. Thank you, Jack. It got even better because of your amazing artwork, so thank you very much. Okay, so we have some stars indicating how hard the quest is going to be for James. We have a due date. Maybe we pop the weight down here, right? Let's make it regular so there's some hierarchy. That was bugging me. And then maybe we give this a little bit of just a little tinge. But anyways, yes, back to content-aware layout. I was getting distracted there. Does anyone else get super like distracted when designing? They'll be working on one thing and then jump to another thing and then...
It's usually with Twitter. I'll be designing something and I'll see my Twitter feed update. I'll just start reading stuff and then that will lead me to something completely different. And I'll be on Reddit and then I'll go somewhere else and I'll just keep going and then I never get my design done.
All right, so for content-aware layout, let's make sure that we actually, see, this is why grouping and naming your layers, guys, is so important. Because otherwise you're gonna end up like me right now and have all these crazy groups and all these crazy layers. So learn from my mistakes, guys.
Justine says, constantly distracted. Yep. The internet rabbit hole. Indeed.
Okay, so I think I want these to be grouped. And then, so for this whole group, right, I can turn on padding. Yep. And so now what that's gonna do is it's set padding for everything. So like if I were to drag this,
yeah,
you guys have seen it
Yep.
1,000 times by now, it's gonna keep it right there.
Yep. Or if you add things to the bottom or, you know, make that text box a little bit bigger, that whole content area will kind of expand with it, so you don't have to worry about manually doing that later, which is fun. Now I will note that at the moment, because you have an area text active, if you were to go to the next line, it doesn't auto expand just yet. It looks like it will, but once you click out of it, because it was defined, it doesn't auto expand yet, but that is in the works. I believe Andre, one of our PMs who was working on this, did confirm on Twitter as a reply to somebody that we're working on stacks to go along with content-aware layout. So that's something that is coming at some point.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure people are gonna love that.
Yeah, and this kind of goes back to what we were talking about yesterday, is, you know, introducing features with a good foundation and then building upon those. So content-aware layout, while it is a fantastic feature right now, it's a foundation, and we're going to continue to add features to go along with it, and also, you know, make it work really nicely with other features.
Yep. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah.
Kate is asking, is DrawKit free? Like 80% of the illustrations are free. Yeah, there are some that you can pay for, but you can of course filter down by price.
It's pretty good.
Awesome. Okay guys, we're at a point where we need to add some more stuff, right? So, oh, okay, let's give James a username really quick. Should we make it as simple as James Daily? Why do I want to do that with your name? Should it be...
For now. Yeah, in the chat, because we've got Cater Tot.
Yes.
We've got Darth Cater, and then we need something for James.
We do need something for James.
Yeah.
I'm now going to change my username to Darth Cater.
I think it's only fitting.
Was it Darth Cater or Darth Cater Tot?
Oh, I don't know.
We're just gonna run with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like the profile page is really good. With the last 11 minutes until the design feedback countdown, let's go ahead and I want to animate this bar filling as we complete a quest. So what we're gonna do, so this is the artboard where the quest is officially complete, I believe, yes. So what we're gonna do is now we can come down here and just move this up. Oh my God.
Michael says James Binks, like Jar Jar Binks.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Val's not happy. Yeah. Good old Jar Jar.
So what I'm doing now is, I mean, we've all done auto animate before, right? We have our fill bar over here, filling up over here. So we're just gonna simply go ahead, and since this is happening right after we complete a quest, I'm just gonna have it on time. So on a time setting, maybe there's a slight delay. Maybe there's a delay of 0.2 seconds. I'll probably name my artboard better in a second, but we want to make sure it's auto animating, and let's have it ease in out. Let's try 0.5 seconds and see how that looks.
Sure.
Let's actually start it from the beginning. So we have completed, oh, wait a second, what are we doing here? Okay, so I actually
go.
ended up doing it after that artboard. But you guys get the points. Now we have some fun, or, you know, honestly, a pretty simple animation going on there.
Yeah.
You could add following and follower count on profiles,
Oh yeah,
says
you
Wendy.
can do that.
Love it.
I'm just taking a look at, you know, all the artboards you're using and just thinking back before states were even a thing. How many more artboards would be necessary for something like this?
Yeah, wow.
Probably a lot more.
Probably at least like 10 times more.
Yeah, especially if you wanted a user to be able to check on any of the checkboxes and tasks.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you just have a lot more. And yeah, I think thinking forward, we're gonna be able to reduce that even more at some point, hopefully this year.
Yeah, really quick to even hit on that. Let me pull up a project from, this was probably the most artboards I ever had in a project.
While you're doing that, Thomas says, who do I speak to get a sort feature added to the website hosting the legacy videos? I want to watch them all, but they are spread out and not logically aligned by series or host. So I believe you're probably talking about the HelpX page that's linked from the Adobe XD website, possibly. If that is the case, the XD website is, we're doing some things behind the scenes, so we definitely know that it needs better filtering, it needs better organization, it needs better content. So things are happening, and I think you'll be happy once that's all done. So yeah, definitely aware.
Louis says James and the Giant to-do list.
Ooh.
That's my favorite.
That's a good one.
Okay, we'll add that in a second.
Yeah.
But to kind of hit on like our point of like how many artboards does someone need? This was probably one of the first, no, this was the big first animation I ever did, and this was, I think it was like 70 artboards. So just,
That's a few.
it's a few, yeah.
Yeah, I have some, I have a few that can get a little bit crazy. Let me find a few, just for the fun of it. Where are they?
James is calling me out for my really bad file naming. Does anyone else do that? Like, I've gotten a lot better at it. That file was like from 2 years ago, but I would go through and have to keep re-exporting and oh my god. Yeah, this username probably will be too long, and I don't want to get, maybe the username will have like a character limit for it.
Yeah.
Let's do James Weekly. I saw that one in the chat. Let's give him a follower count. So I was thinking for this app, you could find that sort of information in the parties part of the profile. Like I was imagining once you click into it, it takes you to an artboard where it shows every party, which imagine it is like a team, like team tasks.
Right.
Right in there. Then you could see like all of his friends through, that way. But maybe for this stream, let's keep it simple.
Yeah. And maybe for like group-based tasks, like if you're part of a team or something, they could be called raids or dungeons or something crazy like that.
So let's just do friends. How would I want to do this? It's just a friend count, so let's give him 374.
And then somewhere on here I have a crazy file, but I can't find it.
Let's see. Let's use a plugin. Let's use an icon plugin to pull some icons for these links. So badges. Let's maybe just try trophy. Originally, I wanted to do some like really fun like designer-based badges, basically like referencing to what you're accomplishing.
Yeah.
But for time's sake, let's just do trophies. Trophy.
Where did it go?
Come back. Where are you?
This is where drag and drop will definitely help quite a bit.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, as Val mentioned, there's about 5 minutes left, about 4 minutes now, until the design challenge deadline. So definitely go to behance.net/challenge/XD, and we're going to take a look at a few in a second.
What's today's theme? Do you know?
It was to create a leaderboard experience, I believe, using plugins.
Nice.
Yeah. So UI faces and a few others I think were used during James's, not James's. We're so fixated on James.
I know, right?
Jesse's stream. That's who it was.
What am I doing? When did Poppins get involved? I've been running Averta, I thought.
Oh boy. Poppin should always be involved.
Let's see, because this should be Averta. Yeah, you're Averta 24.
Luis is asking, are you all trying to get your actual work done while participating in the live stream? Asking you Adobe peeps. I'm not. I'm just sitting here doing nothing.
I'm really trying to get your actual work done while also participating.
But often when I am at home or at the office listening to the streams, I am working.
Yeah. I'd personally love to tune into Adobe Live because, at work, to just get to do my own work and then hear other creatives talk,
yeah.
people are so talented and have such good points, and I get to kind of keep up with what's going on in the industry. It's great.
So you've got little trophy badge for the badges section. What are you thinking for friends?
Let's go ahead and just do simple people. That's fine. Got a minute and 50 seconds left until the challenge.
So Michael's listening on the side while working. Eric is working really hard to meet a deadline. And Luis is saying, at my job, we do a live stream once a week. It distracts the whole office, but it's fun. Yeah, that typically happens.
Did this get super squished? Or is that just how the icon looks?
That's just the icon.
I don't like it as much as this
Kinda
one,
squishy.
so we're gonna use this one.
Yep.
I was thinking that maybe I didn't want people to be able to click into friends from here, but maybe I do. So let's just go ahead and take this.
"36 seconds left. Make sure to get those challenge entries in.
Why are you hanging all the way down here?
Has a mind of its own sometimes.
I know, right? 19 seconds left.
Thomas is saying, thanks, Howard, for always answering questions. You're welcome. Thanks, Kate, for the day and night study habit for learning XD.
Nice, okay.
Indeed. Yeah, keep going, Thomas. There's definitely a lot of content. And I know you asked about the HelpX site. If you go to letsxd.com, that's the one that I run. And it's a little bit more organized, I think, possibly. I don't know. I think you'll like it. Biased again. So let's hop over to my screen, and we're going to take a look at some challenge entries. Before we do that, we were talking about earlier about the massive amount of artboards. I know I have projects that have many more artboards than this. I just can't find them right now. But this is when I created the Love, Death, and Robots, recreated the intro. And because components don't really play into something like this, basically every single artboard is a state, sort of. So kind of like, it's all time transitions, masks, fancy.
So good. You're like the XD wizard.
I had a lot of fun doing this. I just try to push XD to its bounds. Obviously, it's not made for something like this, but with Auto Animate, you could do it if you really wanted to. But anyways, let's take a look at some entries. Some came from yesterday, some will come from today. This one is from Dima, and this is the yoga application from yesterday, I believe. Is this oh, there we go, okay. So it looks like it's just a still image. Looks very clean. The only thing that kind of sticking out to me, I would say be careful when you're working with rounded corners like this. I love rounded corners, but when the corners are too round, you don't want to put the text right near the edges, because then it looks a little bit squishy. So maybe either unround the corners a touch, maybe go for 8 or 16 pixels. That looks like it's probably closer to 32 or 42 or something like that. And then, or just move the text inwards a little bit if you have room.
I really like that, you chose the background color of blue, because we were talking about yesterday how blue is a very calming color. It's very fitting for a yoga application. I see that you have some, or actually right down there where it says stretch and anxiety, I might suggest to lower the character spacing right in there. It's a little bit hard to read, but besides that, looks pretty good.
Yeah. Sweet,
Nice.
I'd love to see more of that.
Good job.
Let's go to, this is Runners. Who's this from? Julia. Maybe. Come on, video. It may work, it may not work, I don't know. Let's take a look. Zoom in here. Nice.
I like that diagonal cut. Gives it some fun character.
Yep. I'd say be careful with text on gradients.
Yeah.
The black color here, I think white might work a little bit better, might pop a little bit more. But yeah, gradients are great. Watch for floating elements like this. The time should be somewhere else, or just get rid of it completely. I would also say, because this is mobile, be careful with sizing. So you have your navigation links here, but they're super small. So just enlarge them a little bit more, just so that users can see it, they can tap on it, and they'll be able to navigate it away.
Yep, it's suggested that for mobile you want to at least, provide, I think it's around 16 pixels, 16 to 20 pixels on mobile, especially when you have elements that you want users to be able to tap on and engage with. It's very important that they have enough, space to actually do those things.
Yeah, and I think for larger elements, I think Apple suggests about 45 pixels for tap areas.
Areas, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
So definitely keep that in mind. And then we've got, there's donuts, that's me. Day 5, this is from, the username is Baby. Let's see if I can make this a bit bigger. Ooh, that was fancy.
Wow, look at that.
I love the colors.
This is great.
Play that again. Looked like they had a mask inside of the button as well.
The way that everything's coming in too, it's so clean, yet it has such a, I haven't seen anything really like this on other mobile applications. So it stands out really well.
I can just watch this forever.
Yeah, me too. Is it just me, or does the illustration slightly, it animates,
oh, yeah, it does.
It enlarges
Look at that.
right there. Look at her hair. Wow.
I didn't even notice that at first.
They say good animation's the kind you can't really notice. So
that's pretty cool.
this is super impressive. This
Good
was
job.
What's this person's name?
Baby.
Good job, Baby.
This one is from Tofik. Another yoga application or experience of some sort. Oh, he's going for the neumorphism type thing.
Yep.
Oh boy. You got to be careful with this.
So I'm super curious. Let us know in the chat what your opinion of it is.
Yeah.
Do you guys like it? Do you think it's a little bit too much? I personally think it's really, really fun for, whether it be, shots for Behance or Dribble or whatever. But as far as like actual usability and accessibility, I think it's just one of those things it's more fun. It's more fun than actual, like, we should implement it kind of thing.
Yeah, it's got to really be done right. I like the idea of it, but yeah, it's, especially for accessibility, it's going to be tricky. And I would say for this, I mean, it looks fine. I don't think you need the little bevels and the shadows on the text. I don't think that's necessary. But I would definitely say that, the gray on the blue is a little bit strange. If this is your off state, maybe go for a dark blue, and then for the on state, just go for a solid white.
Yep.
But it's fun. It's tricky to kind of get right, and neumorphism is definitely in its infancy phases. So it might evolve over time, and I've seen some good implementations of it.
Yeah.
But I've also seen some that are just, especially talking about accessibility, you're going to have some problems.
Yeah, because kind of what you've done here is the toggles look like they're disabled.
Yeah.
And so even like Howard said, bringing in some white, making it look like a user can actually go in and tap on that, right?
Yep. Let's see, we've got some suggestions from Joss, and this one is from Frankie. Oh, we saw this one yesterday, or is this an updated one? This might be updated, let's see. I did see oh, there he is, Frankie's on here, UX Ninja. Oh yeah, this one was super clean yesterday.
Oh yeah, I loved this one.
He's added a bit of a design system and component states. This is really cool, and this is what I love about these daily challenges, and when users are participating in this, is they really like take the challenge and expand on it. They start putting together a design system, they show off fonts, of course Poppin's best font ever. And it just looks super clean.
This looks so good.
Yeah.
Great job, Frankie.
Nicely done. Which one is this? Repost on my yoga tracker. Brendan. Oh, it's a prototype. Sweet. All right, so we've got a bunch of component states you can switch on and off. Nice. All right, I think that's about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like the easing on the toggles. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, just little bits of feedback, kind of like what we mentioned earlier and yesterday. Make the text a little bit bigger so it's a little bit more legible. Maybe make some of it bold so that, there's a little bit of hierarchy, and you've spoken a lot about hierarchy today and yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Good use of states. We've got, this is same one as before. Which one is this? Let's take a look. Mind Architect. Ooh. Great colors.
Yeah, love greens.
What are your thoughts?
Right off the bat, I really enjoy the colors, like we said. I like your first illustration you have going on. So I see the buttons kind of fill up the whole bottom of the phone. I would kind of, suggest against that. You should do some research. There's some really good data backing up how, buttons on mobile should have really good target points. But you don't want them to ever, see how the text, there's just way more room than you need. And when you think about holding a phone, if I already have an account, which is probably likely, I have to put my thumb all the way at the bottom of my phone to touch on that. You want to bring that up a little bit and think of where the thumb would comfortably sit to hit those targets.
And also, if you are designing for the iPhone, any iPhone without the button, you want to, again, like you mentioned, make sure that nothing is too close to the bottom, because there's that home indicator and there's a few limitations around that. So yeah, I agree. Just move some of that stuff up a little bit.
And then some stuff in the middle. We've got focus. So I believe that anywhere that you have a number, numbers are important, right? Let's make them bigger. Let's really let the the 1 out of 10 and all of the other numbers like really shine. And then maybe add some background images to those squares to kind of liven up the space a little bit. Let's see. Home I see is off to the left-hand side. I would, and then I see some icons. Let's make sure the icons are aligned, centered horizontally, because I think there might be some misalignment going on.
Space here, but a little tiny space here. And it's probably, this, what is it, a sun, possibly? This sun is probably lined up nicely with maybe home or even the home icon.
Yeah.
But because there's that container there, kind of, it skews that spacing a little bit.
But really great colors, great choice of illustration. I would introduce some more neutral colors actually. Like let's add in some black for maybe some of the text to really, back to hierarchy, right?
Yeah.
But, maybe like use black on the titles. But all in all, I think, good job.
Yeah. And Aaron's asking, is there any certain places you go for research and numbers on things?
Research and numbers on things. Usually when I need to know something, I will just Google it. I don't really have any books or resources off the top of my head that come to mind, but I mean, it's one Google search away. And then what's best too is like you're gonna get the most, or follow that question up with like 2020 or maybe the end of 2019, so you're making sure you're getting the most recent numbers, of course.
Yeah. So Frankie threw this in here. He's playing around with components and states. I'm assuming all this is from a single artboard, which is great. And there's boop at the end.
Oh, how cute.
This looks like it's kind of like in its, comparing it to some of Frankie's other work. This is probably more of a mock-up phase. So he's definitely still kind of defining the design. I would just be careful with some of these icons. I'm not exactly sure what they're supposed to be, but maybe he hasn't slotted in the other icons yet. But yeah, this is a really good use of components and states because all of this, this whole section at the top and even this down here can be all put into one single component. And then there could be 2 states, last week in 24 hours. That way you don't have to have multiple artboards for things like that.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Sweet.
I like that.
All right, so that's going to wrap it up for the challenges. Let's hop back over to Kate's computer and finish things up. We've got about 13 minutes or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really quick, Mo says Medium articles can be helpful. Yeah, I really enjoy Medium. As someone who may be writing articles, Medium is a wonderful platform, but I support you or encourage you all to write articles on your own website too.
Yeah.
Because then you have complete ownership over those articles, and it's your space. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we want to do here? Oh, really quick, another kind of new feature we didn't talk about yet, nothing too big, but we see that we have an update over here with fixed position when scrolling.
Oh yeah, so little background. So when we introduced, I don't remember when we introduced it, but at some point way back in the day, we introduced the ability to fix items to your artboard. So if you have a long scrolling artboard, you can have navigation bars or any like little fab menus, for example, kind of stick to the artboard as you're scrolling and they don't move, right? Originally it was in design mode, and because it's a more or less a prototyping feature, it was removed from design mode and brought into prototype mode. And a lot of users who were used to it being in design mode tweeted at Adobe XD, they tweeted at the product managers, and they said, hey, where is it, right?
Yeah. I
liked it in design mode. So now, they took the feedback and now it's in design mode and prototype mode.
Yes.
So it's everywhere.
And
it's back.
So to touch on that really quick, I was playing with it this morning, and for those of you that want to try it out, like Howard said, it's in both design and prototype mode. When you click on it in design mode, it will auto update, like it will be activated in prototype mode as well. So in my mind, I'm like, wait, why is it in 2 different locations? Do I have to make sure both are activated? And I was a little bit confused there. So I mean, yeah, once you activate it in design and or prototype mode, it will update across.
Yeah, and there will be times where you don't see it at all. And usually, right now you have an entire artboard selected, so it's obviously not going to show up there. But if you have an individual element selected and you don't see it, Usually the reason is because you are inside of a group or inside of a component. In order for you to fix a position or fix an object to an artboard, it has to essentially be the parent level. So if it's a navigation bar, you have to select the entire group. Or if it's a floating button, you have to select the button instead of that button being inside of a bigger component or group.
Right. Cool.
So keep that in mind.
So last little element I want to go ahead and add in here. So for every side quest, I'm thinking you get 50 XP, sounds about fair, and then for main quest you can get more. So we have this rewards area, but I want to make it stand out more, right? I want to make people feel enticed to complete their quests, to conquer them.
Yeah.
So maybe one of the ways I do that is, of course, the lovely, we love to hear it, make it bigger. Maybe we can even play with like this XP color a little bit.
And there could be an opportunity at some point in the future to introduce like tiers or something. Then you can do, you have 50 experience and then maybe 300 experience until tier, like the gold tier or the whatever it might be. Just so you can really incentivize people with actual rewards, whether it's maybe badges or physical rewards, stickers maybe.
Stickers could be really cool.
Yeah, everyone loves stickers.
Love stickers.
What does chat think? What kind of rewards, in an app like this, what kind of rewards would you like to see? If you were completing tasks or, helping your friends complete tasks, what would you want? Louis saying, maybe a sad puppy in the corner that makes you feel guilty until you complete it.
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah. That would do it for me.
Yeah.
Okay, last minute things. Let's see, how can we wrap up this stream? Because we have, what now? We have 10 minutes left.
Yeah, so this is a perfect opportunity, this login box, to kind of showcase what content-aware layout can do, right? And I think this is a perfect example.
Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure we have things grouped properly, right? So we have background, name this panel, email, this should be password. You can see my excellent typos live. Okay, cool. So maybe group these. Oh, not all of them. And give it padding.
And on the surface, when you turn padding on, it looks like nothing happened, and that's a good thing. And behind the scenes, you can notice over to the right that it's automatically added padding. And if you need to, you can, like if you want to extend that email box or move things around, or move the sign-in button for whatever reason beside email, you're going to notice watch what's going to happen if you just grab the sign-in button and just move it over.
Yep, that is so cool.
Things just move around. You can move it all the way over to the left or the right or whatever it might be. And it just does its thing.
Look at that. That is so neat.
Yeah. Takes the complexity out of designing.
Right? Well, some of it.
Yeah, some of it. As designers, we shouldn't really have to worry about manually resizing objects when we're designing. It should just do it for us.
And then, like you were mentioning earlier, you can hold down the tilde key, right?
Yeah.
And you can see your padding all around here. And then if you do tilde and then alt tilde alt option, it will do the parallel, kind of like corresponding sides. And then if you do tilde shift, right, it does all of them.
Here you go, look at that.
Nice, look at that.
Fancy.
And it keeps all of your padding and everything's perfectly aligned. That's great. Okay, so
I know I'm going to go back in all my old projects and just like find anywhere I can possibly add padding to. I'm just going to add padding to everything.
yes.
Yeah, because I can now.
All of the padding everywhere. Let's see. Erin says to James that she's mentioned Zelda before, so totally is. Yeah, we did talk about Zelda at some point. Do you have to manually pin elements within the artboard?
As to which side they pin as you resize. So I believe you're probably referring to with padding and content-aware layout. So if you're combining it with responsive resize, it'll mostly know what side things are. Like if it's snapped to the center, it'll keep it in the center. And if it's snapped to the right or the left, or I guess the right and the left, it should kind of stay within that because everything's kind of, and if you group things together, then those will all move together. So there's a few things you can do to make sure that they stay to the right or the left or, top or bottom.
Mm-hmm. Michael says padding, more like, whoa, this is amazing.
We should rename it, whoa, this is amazing, instead of just padding on the side.
And guys, look, like thanks to padding now, I can come in here and be like, wow, this is amazing. And look at that, my padding and my typos.
Who cares about spelling?
Right?
Yeah.
No, it's great.
Fancy. And if you had that text center justified, it would just all go nicely on both sides.
Oh yeah, if we had this actually set to center like you should for buttons. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so there's about 5 minutes left. If you have any last questions for Kate or me or whoever, if you have questions for Paco, throw them in the chat. Why not, right? So if you want to kind of go over what you've done over the last 2 days and kind of recap the project, show off what you've created.
Yeah, so day one was really all about, explaining what we're going to be building, showing you guys some of the sketches that were brought in, some references that were helpful to me. We named our wonderful color palette, some fun Adobe Live-esque things.
Yep.
And then day one was just a super simple lo-fi mock-up of kind of like what we were all collaborating on and thinking, what we would like to see in a to-do app. And then in day two, we kind of took those ideas and fleshed out a login experience. Actually, let's tie it back into video game theme one last time. Though you really shouldn't mess with sign in, sign up, because those are universally defined things. You can have fun with button copy, I think. So maybe we can...
Especially in this case, because you have the sign in header up at the top.
Yep.
It's underlined, so they know that this is the sign in experience, and the button kind of relates to that. So in that case, you can probably get away with it.
I think so too. So we've just designed a quick little login page, and then down here we have the home page, which a viewer can come in, or not the home page. We have our quests page, and then you can view all of your side quests, which are meant as like your daily quests, and then get some quick quest details. And then down here is really just a fun little nerdy, like motivational video game quote.
Yeah, Aaron says, oh, button copy is free game for sure, no pun intended.
I really like when websites do, or rather use clever button copy.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Down here we have designed a profile page. We made this James's profile page because we're using his illustrations today. Again, drawkit.io if you want to download any. And then
Plugin coming soon. Maybe? Plugin coming soon, maybe?
Plugin coming soon, maybe. Yeah, seriously. By soon we mean tomorrow, right?
Tonight.
Tonight.
That's why James has been quiet. He's working on his plugin.
Oh, yeah. He's like heads down right now.
Yeah.
Muted us at this point. So we can see some of James's side quests, his gallery, and then a main quest. And then over here you can see some of the badges he's earned and view his friend list. Oh yeah, and then his level.
Good job, James.
Good job.
Sweet.
So that's what we've designed in the past 2 days.
Nice. I love it. Are you going to continue this and post it on Behance at some point?
I got it at this point.
I think you have to.
I feel like it would be so cool to have.
Yeah.
Because I love to-do lists. I love the social idea of this. And then to be able to, meet new people through it as well and motivate each other to get work done in a fun way.
I would also love to see a mobile version of this. See what that looks like.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
Yeah. Alrighty, so that's gonna basically wrap it up. There's James.
Hi, James.
Welcome back. You got it. So that'll wrap it up. Where can people find you?
People can find me. You can find me, of course, on Behance. It should be linked in the bottom of this stream. Or, I'm typing in all caps.
Screaming into that URL bar.
You can find me over on Twitter, twitter.com/Kate_Kassab. But after the stream, maybe it should be Darth Cater.
Maybe. You just broke 400 followers. Nice.
Hey, thank you guys.
Let's get her
so
500
cool.
tonight.
No.
All right, that'll wrap it up for me. That'll wrap it up for Kate. We'll be back at some point, probably. I'll be back at some point doing stuff, and maybe you'll be streaming again at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
That'll be fun. Alrighty, thanks again everyone for joining us. Val and Cara and Michael and James, of course, for his amazing illustrations. Aaron, and there's a bunch more people in the chat I can't see, but thank you everyone, and we'll see you all later.
Thanks, guys.